Hello, John Stacy here, reporting from in front of a big white wall. Today I want to talk about an exercise I do before I start playing every day, and this is an exercise that I got from Chris Smith at Texas Tech. And the idea is that it gets your aperture going and set and controlled in such a way that you can get your ranges connected. And the exercise is kind of hard to see because I have a mustache, but the idea is that you start free buzzing and you try to get all the buzz to happen right in the center of the aperture, and then you go from the mid-range to the low range and back. So this is the exercise. And I've adapted it a bit because the version that I learned from him was optimized for horn because, he's a horn player. And I have used it primarily in the way that he described as a horn player. And so because I warm up every day and I do my routine on horn, I do the horn version, but you can adapt it for whatever brass instrument you're using. So the purpose of this exercise is that you start with your aperture at the mid-range with the shape of a horn embouchure. And then as you go lower, you roll out, but you keep the buzz happening more or less in the same place. And sometimes it'll cut out like that. This time I was focusing on keeping it centered and not letting it just spread, but. And the idea is that you don't want to roll in too much as you go higher, because that can end up actually not doing what you need it to, because as you roll up, the aperture changes and you're trying to get this middle of the lip to be a good vibrating surface. And so the way that he describes it is that as you're lower, everything's out, and then as you go higher, you bring everything in. And so you're moving it from outside to inside. And there's a bit of rolling in that happens in the lower lip naturally. So what I've noticed since I've started doing this on a regular basis is that I'm ready to go a lot quicker. I've had a lot fewer bad chop days. I still get them, everyone does. But I've had a lot fewer days where I'm just absolutely stiff and swollen whenever I start playing in the mornings. And the other thing is I've noticed I've started to have a much better feeling and sense of aperture control, not only on horn, but on the other brass instruments. And I start to play more trumpet. I think that's why I can manage both horn and trumpet, when I couldn't previously. One of the main things that I've developed in my playing while at Texas Tech has been aperture control and not letting it go spread. And so I will do this exercise both at the beginning and at the end of a playing day because it helps me keep everything centered and it helps me come back to essentially a setting where I'm not overly spread or overly tight because, it helps with both extremes. Anyways, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment and I'll respond as I get it. But thank you, and I hope you enjoy these little bits of horn advice. Thank you.